Kahnawà. Welcome to another daily update. Today is October 29th and we are episode 146. We have a full agenda today. Presenting will be Trudy Jacobs, KSCS parenting worker. We'll also have Dwayne Zacharie, Chief Peackeeper. And up first we have Delaronde, Director of the KEC.
Sego, I'm pleased to be here this afternoon to give you an update in terms of what has transpired in Kahnawà education and within our community schools. I will cover a wide variety of different topics today, and first of all, the first area that I want to talk about is the Phase 1 in terms of what has transpired within our schools. And I do want to offer and provide some clarity in terms of what the KEC schools have identified as Phase 1, and also clarify where the situation, what we're currently in, which is in the red zone, and how that has impacted, and the differences between the two. So for today, I just want to let everyone know that we have come to the end of what we initially identified as Phase 1. For those of you who are not aware, is that we did, when we began this new adventure into reopening our schools, we really felt that we needed to open our doors in terms of a phase approach, and that was really vital and important. For those of you who may or may not remember, is that one of the key things that we wanted to look at is that when we opened our doors, we really wanted to make sure that we had set guidelines and a health and safety protocols in place, and that we did establish a reopening guide. So what we're doing at this time as we end Phase 1 is we're going to be doing, and we are evaluating what that reopening guide entailed, the procedures and so forth. And we have been gathering information about whether we were successful implementing the health and safety protocols, what challenges we faced, and we're going to be providing a report to our stakeholders on that. One of the other areas that when we did our phase opening is that we really knew parents, not all parents were comfortable sending their children back into our community schools. And because of that, we established a home learning program. The home learning program, what we did is, what we've now completed is we did a survey. We sent out a survey to the parents who are partaking in that home learning program. And that home learning program survey just ended today. And we really want to thank the participants who did respond to the questions in our survey. Right now, we know that in part of the survey for the home learning program, we had approximately 220 participants in terms of families who wanted to partake in it. And as of today, we had 134 responses. So when you're doing a survey, really, we have to say that that's almost about, you know, we are able to reach out to approximately 50% of our parents who responded. And there was an equal distribution in terms of both of our elementary schools, which was Zacharie and Kahnawà, where there was a 50-50 response to that. And with that, we do want to say that we will also compile and release the results to the community. But what's really key is that we're going to take the feedback from that and readjust where we can our home learning program. Where there were challenges, we want to fix those challenges and really improve upon the program, because the home learning program is going to continue into Phase 2. So we heard from parents, we heard from the distant learning teachers, we heard from the on-site teachers. So we really did a collaborative analysis of what services we delivered, and we're going to work to improve on those programs in the Phase 2. As well, one of the things we also did is we instituted a 4-day teaching week, leaving the Friday for our teachers, our educators, to really work on planning, preparing, because we really did identify the fact that this was going to be a challenging effort to open our doors, to have our teachers really become acquainted with this new learning approach. And we really wanted to take care of the wellness and also leave time in those days, if needed, for students to come on, depending on the teachers, if they needed to work with them. The feedback we received from our staff was that this was something that was desperately needed, appreciated, and well used. Moving into this type of remote learning, online learning, and blended approach, in, say, for the high schools, this was key to their planning, their preparation, and their well-being. And with that, taking that into consideration as we're now into the red phase and moving into phase 2, we want to say that we really do want to say that that will continue into phase 2. To support our educators, to support our teachers, they really need this type of planning period to continue on to deliver quality services to our students. So that's going to continue in phase 2. One of the other areas that we're currently evaluating, and I just want to say, is that you all recall that we did have the phase 1. But in the phase 1, we were planning and preparing our teachers who were on site and our students. Part of that work was, let's get them ready, let's let them practice how to get onto Google Classroom, get into Zoom, work on these areas while they're on site with their teachers, because we don't know if we're going to have to go into a full closure again or some type of closure. Well, that happened sooner than we had anticipated. And that is where what we're now experiencing is the red zones, the red alerts. That is what happened sooner, as I said, than we anticipated. Because of that happening, what occurred is we quickly had to revert to the remote learning. We had to downsize in terms of the amount of students in our buildings in order to eliminate any major spread of COVID-19. So we quickly established a remote learning program. Now, parents who are in that program, we have been hearing a lot of questions. We have been hearing a lot of information from different people saying, you know, this is very challenging. We have concerns. And what we want to do at this point in time is we have put out a survey. We want to hear your concerns. We want to hear what your challenges are. So if you are a parent who you did have your children on site, and because you did not qualify to be on site, whether it was essential workers, vulnerable, and you had to provide a remote programming during this red zone that phase we're in, right now you will be sent a link from your respective schools to access that link and to access that survey. So we really encourage you and stress that we want to hear from you. We want to know about your experiences right now in the remote learning program. We want to be able to address these concerns and respond to them. And it is open right now, that survey for the remote. And we're going to open it until 3 p.m. Sunday. Why, you may say, it's such a quick time to get the information is when we begin to open the doors for next week again into our phase 2, we want to work quickly on addressing your needs, whether it's program, too much Zoom time, not enough. We want to make sure that we can respond quickly. So I encourage you to please respond to that survey that is out right now. So with that in mind, those are some of the updates that I just wanted to bring to everybody's attention. So for phase 2 within our schools, I'll repeat, we are going to be going into a 4-day, continuing on with the 4-day program. We are going to continue with the home learning, the remote learning, and the on-site, which is the 3 at the high school. They are in that blended approach as well. We are going to be putting out further information about our report cards, so that'll be coming up next week about the weighing and the terms. So that's going to be more information about that because we've had to make adjustments. And we are really, mindful about the stresses, about the wellness of everyone involved during this time. So I did want to, just provide that quick update. It's an important update for parents. It's important to note that we are listening to you, we are getting the information, and we are going to share that information with you and respond to it in a timely manner. If there's anything else, please contact your schools. Please respond to the surveys, and if you didn't, call the school and be heard. So with that in mind, I just wanted to end with that and just say that, we will be sharing the overall report in the next few weeks about our success, our challenges. We will be continuing to put together some programming, and we will be working to address everyone's needs. So, Kahnawà, and have a good evening.
Kahnawà, Robin. And as was mentioned, be sure you keep up to date with the daily status in Kahnawake by checking the Kahnawake 911 Facebook page. Every day we post the colored level of the COVID-19 alert. Up next we have Trudy Jacobs, KSCS parenting worker.
Well, hello. I'm here to present a talk show series that KSCS will be producing for the month of November. It is in response to blended families and their issues with visitation and custody during this pandemic. People are anxious and fearful with the restrictions, like, do I send my children, do I not, in between homes, There's been a lot of questions sent to KSCS as well as to the task force, and we were looking at ways to get information out to the community and came up with this talk show series for parenting. It's going to be Facebook Live, so when it's going to be on, you can ask questions as the show is going on, or you can send your questions, say if you're at work or your children are on Zoom and cannot access the internet. Well, you can send your questions to parenting@kscskanawake.ca. In turn, field these questions out to our professionals that we will be speaking to. The first talk show will be with Sylvie Forte on Monday from 2 to 3. She is a lawyer of the DeVoe Law Firm, and she will be addressing questions. Sorry. She'll be addressing questions regarding the law. What are your rights and responsibilities? We also have Susie Goodleaf, who will be on the show. She is a psychologist and deals with family mediation. She's a family and marital therapist. We have Martha Montour, who's also a family mediator. And we have Dale Dion, who was the brains, I suppose, behind the Skana Anzundu, which is the alternative dispute resolution. And Marlene Stacy will be our last guest, which is November 25th from 3 to 4, and she's the current coordinator of Anzundu, Skana Anzundu. During the live shows, you can post your questions live. You can go to the Facebook Messenger if you want to do it privately, or again, if you're not available and you want to have questions answered, just go to the email parenting@kscskanawake.ca. The whole presentation will be posted on KSCS Facebook page. So if you want more information, just access the Facebook page. It'll all be there, and we will keep updating you as the month goes on. Thank you.
Kahnawà, Trudy. Up next we have Dwayne Zacharie.
Good afternoon, Kahnawake. I wanted to just do part of these updates today in relation to COVID issues, right? I mean, that's what the Facebook Live is all about. Throughout the pandemic, I've come on to Facebook Live and given updates about the state that we're in here in Kahnawake, how the peacekeepers are going about dealing with COVID issues. And the update today is about an incident that occurred over the weekend, you know, with a gathering that was not authorized, you know, something that had gone against directives. And I wanted people to understand that peacekeepers throughout the pandemic have been practicing community policing. But in this particular issue, the Kahnawake peacekeepers issued their first COVID-19 tickets this week. You know, even though we continue to practice community policing, in this particular instance, the issuance of fines was necessary. You know, in this particular instance as well, you know, peacekeepers had to issue fines to their own co-workers. I want people to understand that the directives are for everyone. No one is above the directives. Everyone has to follow along. It's our responsibility as members of the community to try and ensure the safety and security of the community. The peacekeepers can't do it alone. Each and every one of us as individuals is responsible for our safety and security. We have to do it. It's a necessity right now. I know I've heard lots of things that we have 0 cases and, you know, things don't look as bad as people think, but I mean, you have to think, why is it like that? And my feeling is that we're in the situation that we're in with 0 cases, and we're in a pretty good place because of all the measures that have been put into place, and because I think most people in Kahnawake feel that they have to follow these directives, and you should, right? They're directives. Please follow along. That's why I'm here today to talk about it, to let you know that if you're not going to follow the directives, then there are consequences. And nobody is above it, you know, including peacekeepers, you know, no matter who it is. So please, Kahnawake, follow the directives. Ensure the safety and security of each and every one of us, right? We want to get out of this just as quickly as anybody else, but the more we fail to move along, the more we fail to follow the directives, we run a risk, and the risk is real. So I wanted everyone to understand that. And, you know, I want people to move forward too. Right? I mean, we want to work with the community. We want you guys to work together with us, and we need to learn from all of this. And moving forward, you know, I think people from Kahnawake will understand that, you know, it's real, and the peacekeepers are out there, and we don't have a problem doing the enforcement, although we do want to work with you. Also, I want people to understand and to know that we're not necessarily monitoring social media, Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff. So if you're putting up complaints or posting about things that are going on there, we don't have the time to be monitoring that, you know, from an operational standpoint, from the officers who are out there on the road on a day-to-day basis. If you have a complaint, you must call 450-632-6505. You'll get a response. Officers will respond to your incident or to your complaint. So don't just put it on Facebook, or don't go out there and be one of those people who puts it on social media but fails to actually make the call. As I said before, we're all responsible for the safety and security of our community. So please make the calls, make the complaints. The officers, the peacekeepers, they will respond. All right? And moving forward, you know, I want to put this behind us. I want to move forward. I want to make sure that the community continues to be safe. So the other issue that I wanted to talk about today is 2020 Halloween, right? How do we have a safe Halloween? I know that the task force has put together some recommendations on how to have a safe Halloween. The ABCs of trick-or-treating. I know that these posters, if you could see them, there you go, they have been distributed throughout the community. And on there, it gives you some good recommendations on how to have a safe Halloween. I wanted people to know that there will be extra peacekeepers on duty for Halloween night, you know, even for Friday before, which is tomorrow. We want to make sure that people are being safe, that we don't run into issues, you know, like we had in the past on Mad Night and that type of thing. So please be responsible. We always talk about how to be safe here at the task force, right? There's always the masking, the distancing, and the hygiene. It's very important that people follow along. If you look at the, if you have access to and can look at the documents that have been sent out by the task force about the ABCs of trick-or-treating, please do read them. It's very good. It's very informative. If you don't, I'm going to go through some of the major points here now, so that way people can understand. And of course, at the end, if you still have questions, don't hesitate to contact me at the Peacekeeper Department. I don't mind answering these questions. I want to make sure that people in the community are safe and that people do understand. I know that Halloween's only a couple of days away. You know, I've heard lots of rumors and people saying how they felt like the task force was opposed or against Halloween. It's absolutely not true. There are a bunch of recommendations that are out there, and that's the task force wants to ensure as much as possible that people are safe when they go out and trick or treat. And I know there's maybe some questions about how they do that, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that now. We're asking for people to protect themselves, right? The airway, ABCs, airway is the first one. And that's protecting yourself and others by wearing a proper mask. So I know you're going out for Halloween. I know you think that just wearing your scary mask or the cute mask for the little ones is going to be enough. It's not. You have to ensure that people are wearing a safe mask when they're out there as well. We talk about B for bubble, right? That's staying within your own household bubble. What that means is when you're going out, stay with your household. Don't go out there with a group of friends. Don't interact with a bunch of different people. Stay with your family. You know, try and limit your interactions as much as possible. You know, this is for your own safety and security. The C for contacts, again, it's what I just spoke about. Don't mix bubbles. You know, I know in the past, people have gone out, they've had little trailers and they're towing along, you know, however many people they can fit in the trailer and stuff like that, in the bed of their pickup truck, in their car, in their van, in their SUV. You can't do that this year. There's a reason why, right? We have this pandemic that's out there and we need to be safe. So in your vehicles, please, just your family members. Don't bring on, you know, people from other households or, you know, friends. You can't do it at this time. You have to make sure that it's just your own household that you're dealing with. If you're not doing Halloween, then we ask that you know, turn off your outside lights. And please, people, if people don't look like they're celebrating Halloween, like they don't have decorations, their lights aren't on, don't go to their houses, please, stay away. You know, just go to the houses that you see decorations on. And again, as much as possible, try to limit the number of people that you come into contact with, right? Distancing, masking, and hygiene. The next thing I want to talk about is the distribution of candy. You have to make sure that you're doing it properly, right? You have to be safe. I've heard lots of people talk about, you know, Halloween is happening and I'm giving out candy. Okay, you're going to give out candy. Make sure you're safe about the way you do it, right? Because you're giving candy to young ones, to little ones. They're going to interact with other people. You got to make sure that you're being safe as well. I know that you think you are. I know lots of us think that we're doing all of the safe measures, you know, but I know for a fact that not everyone can be 100% of the time. So as much as possible, take every precaution that you can to ensure the safety and security of everyone in your household, as well as the people that may attend your residence for Halloween. Make sure that you don't let people into your house. Do not let people into your house. It's so important. Do not let people into your home. Everyone who's distributing candy, you have to wear a face mask, right? Only one person should be distributing candy. You shouldn't have a bunch of people running up to dish out candy. As much as possible, keep that distance from people. It's so important that you do that. Again, I'll go back to it. Do not enter any homes. Do not allow people to come into your home, okay? Try to package the candy so that way people aren't digging into bowls and you're not going there with a bag and say, pick this or pick that. Have it set aside. Don't even get that close to people. Stay away. Try to come up with some kind of device or mechanism that's going to help you to distribute candy so you can be at a distance from people. It's very important that you do this. The Kahnawake Peacekeepers want people to have a safe and happy Halloween. We want to make sure that people are following the directives. We want to make sure that people understand that Halloween is here in a couple of days, and we need everyone to be safe. Again, I'll go back to what I said earlier. It's up to you and me and everyone else in this community to take every measure possible to ensure that Kahnawake is safe and secure. I know, too, we've had a number of questions. I think people who are moving in and around the community have seen the big billboard signs that have been placed at different entrances into the community that are talking about certain times that you can come into the territory or not. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that this year Halloween is for our community only. You know, Kahnawake is known for having great candies and great treats that they give out, so people from other communities try to come here and benefit from that, and this year we can't do it, all right? Only people from Kahnawake should be in Kahnawake, you know, taking these treats. And again, try to limit it, try to only go to friends and family that you know or who are expecting you. Don't try to go around and say, I'm gonna hit every single house in Kahnawake. Don't do that. We're also asking that people do Halloween and the trick-or-treating from 3 p.m. till 7 p.m. in the evening. That's that way so we can limit the number of contacts. Please, everyone, we want you to have a safe and happy Halloween. Please follow the directives. I'm looking forward to your continued cooperation and collaboration. It's up to you and me and all of us in the community of Kahnawake to ensure all of our safety and security. Now.
Yeah, we're doing. So, as you mentioned, the ABCs of Halloween, it's very important to keep that in mind. We'll have that poster posted to the Kahnawake 911 Facebook page for everyone to download and share with their children. Well, thank you for tuning in today. It's been episode 146, and we'll see you next time.